Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Corwin Johnson, famously known as CJ, host of the CJ Money Way show, podcast host, celebrated author, and dynamic speaker with a passion for storytelling, resilience, and personal growth. Welcome to the show, CJ.
Hey, thank you for having me, AJ. Appreciate it.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, CJ. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you how one can transform their story into global impact, like the way you have done. We'll learn all about this. But before that, let's learn a bit about your journey, your background, CJ, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Yes, my name is Corwin Johnson. I have, thank you. You mentioned it earlier. I have wrote a book, Both Eyes Open and Both Eyes Shut. I'm from Northwest Indiana. I'm like 30 minutes outside of Chicago, and uh, and I've been podcasting for about a year and a half now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now let's understand. Firstly, just to understand your story behind podcasting itself, your journey into podcasting and what inspired your CJ Moneyway show. Tell us a bit about your show also for the audience.
Well, the CJ Moneyway show, it got started, like I said, about a year and a half ago. What inspired me to do it is that I just have I wanted to start it off, AJ. I wanted to do something for men. I wanted to have a platform for men because as I looked around, I saw that there was a lot of podcasts, a lot of women empowerment podcasts and things of that nature. And I just always had a heart for men. And so that's something that I wanted to do at that time. But coming on Pod Match and meeting a lot of people on Pod Match, a lot of guests, different varieties of people, doctors, authors, singers, things of that nature. So it kind of changed the direction of where I was going with it. But I love the direction that it is right now. My tagline is stories behind the success because I wanted to build a platform where people can be heard. People that have stories can share their stories, and anybody that got a story can come share their story on the CJ Moneyway show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, tell us how is your Moneyway show? It sounds like about money. So, do you give out money or do you only give ideas about money, CJ?
Now, actually, it's neither. It's neither nor. Neither or. That's why I said my tagline is stories behind the success. I actually came up with the name CJ Moneyway when I was writing my book. It was a character. Actually, I had did some story forms, and I had did a radio station as if I was the radio host, and so that's where the name CJ Moneyway came up at that time, and so it just stuck with me, man. And so when I did the show, that's what I decided to call it, the CJ Moneyway show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how did you build this up? Because there are millions of shows there out in the world, podcast shows, and you are ranked in top 3% globally. So, what effort, what extra did you do, CJ, so that it could, and how did you build your life around this top global show?
Well, just to be honest, I just want to give all the glory and honor to the man upstairs to give me the wisdom and understanding and the fortitude to stay strong. Uh, the surprise with the top three being top three globally, I've actually found out by somebody that I was interviewing. I didn't know that. I was interviewing a guy, Matt O'Neill. I was interviewing him and he was congratulating me, saying, CJ, I just want to congratulate you. I'm like, for what, Matt? And he was like, bro, you got top 3% podcast globally. And he said it's on listen notes. Check it out. And so when I checked it out, uh I was, and it was a great feat for somebody that started off, and I still do, in my garage. And just actually, like I say, just humbled about it. The one thing that I would say that probably got me to that point is that having actually Alex on Pod Match, helped me out a great bit as far as the tools that they give you, the tutorials that they give you, and everything. And one thing that I would say, AJ, man, it's all about consistency, just being consistent and having a passion for what you do. And so that's one thing that I got a drive and a passion for what I do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking of Alex, he has also a great contribution in my podcasting journey. And without all the things that he gives for a lot of people in this world, I don't think it would have been possible, even for me, to be very frank. CJ, he is fantastic as a
Yeah.
human being, also as whatever he does. He comes from a very different background now into software, and then he's adding value to everyone. That's why I thought, why not speak about it openly?
Yeah, I totally agree with him and his wife. You got to put his wife in there,
Yeah,
Alicia in there too. Great, both of them great people.
absolutely, absolutely. And that is what, makes podcasting great, that it brings so many people together. Otherwise, in normal course, you would not be meeting. But in your journey, CJ, you must have faced a lot of challenges. You don't come from a very rich background, if I understand correctly.
Yeah,
And so tell us a bit about it, because when you are building something, then you have to either give time to this, or you can give time to your bread and butter. How did you manage? What were the major challenges that you faced, and how did you take out time from that bread earning things? Like, even for me, it's the same story. So
yeah.
I want to understand your journey, your challenges from you.
Just starting off, one thing that I had to learn was because when I started off, AJ, I had actually had this idea that I wanted to start a podcast. It had to be like 2013, and so I got me some equipment and everything, and I was sitting around and I was interviewing people. I interviewed my boy G Smith, and I actually thought I was doing so. So I think that was the time that it was being birthed, in me, that I wanted to do this. This was something that I wanted to do, and so sometimes you have some things that you want to do, then you put it to the side. Like I said, I wrote a book in 2015. So I've always had a creative, mentality. I've always been a speaker and love to talk. Like I speak in church and things of that nature. Coming up through high school, I was in drama classes and things like that. So it was always that niche there. Always, just wanting to be creative. And I don't mind speaking in front of people. I don't have a problem speaking in front of people. And I actually wanted to start it I wanted to do a podcast with some of my buddies. And we came up with a plan. We had a name and everything, but a lot of times when it started coming down to the money, people start running away. When we had to start getting the microphone, when we needed the interface and things of that nature, people start running away. And so my buddy pulled me to the side. He say, CJ, he say, man, it's your baby. And he say, everybody can't get excited over something that you have a passion for, and it's something that you want to do. And so that rung a bell to me. And so, at in 2022, I believe it was October 6th when I launched my podcast, actually 2023. I just say, you know what? The Lord just put me on the path. And sometimes you don't need other people to take you to where the Lord is trying to take you, and that's what I sing. And so I just followed my path, man, followed my passion, and here I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you, CJ. God takes you, holds your hand to where you want to be, and
Yeah.
no human can do that. Maybe as a medium, he or she can, but God will always lead you to the right path. Tell us a bit about how faith has also been a part in your whole success story, because it's not a mean feat. You got two books here already written, third coming out, speaker, great podcast, global podcast. Tell us a bit about the role of faith. My personal understanding in my own life is, without faith, without things will not move at all.
At all. Growing up, I grew up in a two-family household, so we had structure. A lot of friends that I had. Matter of fact, out of all my friends, I think only me and my one buddy, where our fathers was present. So that was a foundation there. And so, my mother used to take me to church when I was younger and things of that nature. So the Bible say, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get older, they won't depart from it. So when I became a teenager and I was able to make my own decisions on where I want, if I wanted to go to church or not, of course, I decided not to go. And during these trials and tribulations, man, from the age of like 16 to my early 30s or mid 30s, I went through some stuff, and in time, that's why I want to actually, that's why I wanted to build my platform. And actually, AJ, I got another podcast that just came out at the beginning of this year called Planting Seeds with CJ. And what I was telling you earlier, how I wanted to go to men, because in the podcasting world they talk about your niche and how that avatar and who are you aiming at and who are you trying to get. And so that's my aim, is for men. And so yeah, Planting Seeds with CJ, check me out. But I went through some things, and so I want to, my main goal is I want to try to help other, especially young men and women for that matter, not to have to go through the same trials and tribulations that you may have to go, that you went through. And and one thing that I'm big on now, and I wasn't then, but now that I'm older, and things and wisdom and understanding that you can share with others, is that I didn't take accountability for my actions. And so that was key. I didn't take accountability. But when I began, the Bible say that when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I reasoned as a child. But when I became grown, I put childish things away. And so even in my adulthood, even in my adult age, I still was doing childish things. I still was acting immature. And so when I got to the point when God drew me unto him, when I was living in Detroit, and I started feeling that tug to come on. I had been through so much. And so when he brought me into the fold, I began putting childish things away and started becoming a man and started taking responsibility of the things that I had done in my life. And it wasn't nobody else's fault, because we have a tendency to want to blame other people for what you're going through, for what the situation that you caused. And so once I got the blinders off my eyes with that, things started going a little smoother. And I knew that it wasn't me, because I knew what I was going through. And I knew that God was sustaining me. And so that's why I'm standing, man. And I can't help how anybody else feel, but I know who my source is and where he has brought me from and what he has brought me to. And I'm thinking I haven't even seen it all yet. So I just want to stay the course.
Absolutely, absolutely. So someone who is facing their own tough times in their life, someone who is almost like you say,
Mm-hmm.
but in facing difficulties in their, what would you like to tell them? How should they look at their own lives and start building in terms of responsibility, owning up, accountability, and other things that you have experienced in your own life?
One thing I would say is that if you have a dream, go for it. I'm intrigued by word. I'm inspired by things of the Bible and stories in the Bible. And one thing that inspires me is the story of Joseph in Genesis, and the things that he endured and the things that he went through after the dream to get to the point, to where the dream came into its fullness. He had to go through a lot. And so sometimes what I would say to people, even when you in situations like when he was in the dungeon and he told them, he said, look, I don't deserve to be here and I don't want to be here. And so, but yet and still he was there. And while he was there was things going on in the process where he was interpreting dreams in a place that he didn't want to be. And so what I would say to people, even in those situations, in those jobs or places that you feel like you deserve better, that you don't want to be here, and just stay where you are, because God is developing something in you in that moment to take to you to get to the point where you want to be. We can't shortcut what God has already ordained. It's already past that he has chosen for us to go. And so just keep going the path, no matter how hard or no matter how dark it may seem. What it say that it don't last always. You know, it don't last always. Just go through what you got to go through, man. Give God the glory and the honor all the time. He say, give him thanks in all things, regardless of what you're going through or how you know what I'm saying, how you may perceive things. A lot of times things ain't what you see. It's what he see. And you just got to follow that path. He say, lean not into thy own understanding, but follow the Lord's path. And once you do that, and if you do that, then you will start seeing things open up, and life will become more clear. And then not only could you lead yourself to where you're trying to go, you can lead your family to where you want them to be as well. But as men, and it's just me speaking as men and not taking nothing away from women, but as men, we have to be in place and be leaders of our households in order to lead anybody. But if we're not able to lead ourselves or be disciplined and lead ourselves, we can't lead nobody. So one thing I would say, follow your dreams and learn how to be a leader of your household first, and then you can be a leader of men.
Absolutely, absolutely, CJ. This was your learning for the audience, for a lot of people who are in that same situation, who want to grow up, grow from that situation. What about learnings from your own guest, CJ? What have you learned from your own guests? Tell us a bit about that so that the audience also can learn through those learnings.
If one thing I would have to say that I've learned from quite a few guys is resilience. Like some things that people have went through. I mean, I've talked to people who have lost their children. Matter of fact, I got an episode coming out tomorrow. Christopher Conan, and they lost his son. And you know, just the willpower and the faith that he had in God, that he has in God, to endure that and to keep moving and have a successful business, and to keep continue striving, you know, in his everyday life with this burden on his shoulder. And you know, it's just been so many people that has been through things. Like people may see AJ where you are right now, and you know, have a successful podcast going live, and you know, across many nations and the countries and things like that, but they don't know what you have been through to get to where you are. They can see you where you are now, but they don't know the trials and tribulations that you have been through to get to where you are. And so that was one of the things that I take from my guest, man, that I have on the show, is that it's not just about where you are, it's what you had to go through to get to where you are. And the main thing that comes up with me every time, man, is the resilience that people have in life. You're not surprised, but people will be surprised on what people had to go through to get to where they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nobody's journey is easy, and some of the people who go through very, very difficult journeys, and anyone in the world, including us, we can learn so much from those journeys, and our journeys then become much more, understandable for us also. That it is not just home. There are so many of, so many in this world who are, trying to use their resilience, use their inner power, and fight it out for themselves so that they can shine bright for the whole world. Like your show is shining bright, like so many people who are doing so many. And another show that has come up, planting seeds with CJ, I'm sure. And then that is where, so much of learning from you, CJ, and also so much of learning in your books. Both eyes open, both eyes shut, and there is a new book coming. Tell us a bit about your book so that people can learn from these books.
Well, AJ, man, I started writing that book in the year 2000. Okay. I moved to Detroit, and I didn't know that I had a knack for writing until I got to Detroit. And sometimes, as with Abraham, sometimes you gotta leave your kin folks and leave everybody behind, not knowing where you're going, because it separated me from a lot of things that I was doing. So I was able to listen. And so in the word, you got to be able to have a listening ear. And so when I began writing this book, I just began it in story form, like just creating characters, writing characters. And so then I started reading the word, the Bible. For some reason, I just started reading the Bible. And as I started reading the Bible and I started taking notes from the Bible, AJ, honestly, once I started writing the notes and taking scripture, and I'm looking at my manuscript, the scriptures was fitting in with the storyline. I'm like, wait a minute, this can go here and this go there. And so I will elaborate on the scripture in the story as like one of them. I just give an example where I talked about the donkey, the donkey that talked. And so I considered myself the donkey. And we know what a donkey is. A donkey is an ass. And sometimes people don't want to listen to the ass because they feel as though you don't know what you're talking about. And so how it came about was when my man got on when he got on the donkey, it say that the death angel was standing at the end of the road to kill him. But the donkey saw him at the end of the road and he fell. And so he got mad at him and started beating the horse. And then it said that the donkey began talking. And so I was shocked and I was surprised by that. Like, wait a minute, the ass is talking. And so, but the angel told him that had he not seen him, talking about the ass, had the ass not seen him, that he was going to kill him. And so it resonated with me as being the donkey, because sometimes people don't want to hear what you have to say, especially family members, people that know you, because people always want to judge you from when they used to know you back then, but they don't know the new creature in Christ. And so I took that as I'm giving you something that I felt that I was commissioned to give to people, because as my new podcast is Planting Seeds with CJ, all I can do is plant. The Bible say that some plant, some water, and neither one of them is nothing, because it's God who gives the increase. And so I just look at it as I'm just doing my part. The sower that sowed went out and he sowed seeds, and we had different type of things. Some fell to the wayside. Some got 60-fold, 30-fold, 100-fold. Same seeds, different results. Same seeds, different results. So all you don't know who's gonna take what you saying and grow from it, and you don't know, but some people already had seeds planted. And so what AJ come around to do and what CJ come around to do, I might be coming to water it. Or some people may have a stony ground, and so we coming to tilt the soil so somebody can come plant the seed and water it. We don't know, but all I want to do is play my part. That's all I'm trying to do, is play my part and do what I feel commissioned to do. And as we talked about earlier, real quick, AJ, you asked me what did I get from my guests. One other thing that I get from them, and I tell them this all the time, for them to be successful, for them to have grown and do the things that they're doing in life, it's the service that they're giving back to others, which amazes me, and I appreciate even more, because people has made it. People got millions of dollars. People can live on their own and be happy with their family, but they choose not to just settle for that. They want to reach out and help other people in life so that other people can have things. And so and what they doing, they planting seeds. And so that's another thing that I get from my guests too, man. And I live on that. I'm gonna stand on that. You know what? Every day we plant seeds. And the difference is, it's all about what type of seeds are you planting. Are you planting seeds for people to grow and mature in life, or are you planting seeds of discord? That's up to you on what type of seeds you plant. Me, I'm trying to plant good seeds.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are indeed planting good seeds, and I'm sure a lot of these fruits will be will be reaped by a lot of people. In the coming years, you are planting good seeds through your shows, through your books, and your third book, Faith Through Trials. When is it coming out, CJ?
I want to have it out this year, AJ. I didn't really pay attention until probably about a month or so ago, after I decided to do the podcast, and I'm like, wait a minute, Faith Through Trials. And then, because I got chapters where it breaks down the sword that sold, as I just explained. And so as I thought, I was like, wait a minute, my podcast and my book, they going hand in hand. And so I just feel like this just the season that he has me in right now, is to plant seeds. I may be a nobody to a lot of people, or somebody may, oh man, that's just Corey, he ain't talking about nothing. But man, I had to get over that a long time ago, AJ. Man, I can't worry about what other people think, what other people say. I just gotta do what I feel best and what I gotta do. And I thank God for being in the space, man, and in the situation that He's put me in, like being on the show with you today, being live, and you giving me the opportunity to say what's on my heart, man. I'm just so grateful and thankful in this hour right now, man. I just don't. I thank you,
You are
Jesus.
you are most welcome. You are always welcome today, tomorrow, day after, and many after. There is so much to learn from you, CJ, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn about you, from your podcast to podcast, 3 books, and so much more to come from you. Tell us a bit what is the best way for people to get the best from CJ?
Oh man, you can Facebook, uh, Arthur Corwin Johnson, or the Money Way Show. You can catch me on Instagram. I think it's C.J. Moneyway. Uh, TikTok, the same thing. C.J. Moneyway. YouTube, the Moneyway Show, and then I got planting seeds with CJ. I got 2 channels on YouTube, so you can catch me there, or you can Google me. I ain't hard to find.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not hard to find. You are very easy to find. You will be very easy to find, CJ Money. So, my last question to you, CJ, is to understand now, after achieving a lot and doing a lot, what is it that you now seek for yourself in your life? Where is it that you are wanting to go?
Uh, my next move, to be honest with you, AJ, I want to build a team, somewhat like you, because as I'm getting a lot of workload right now, and I need an assistant. That's one thing that I need. I need assistant, and I just want to just stay consistent in what I'm doing, and just see where the Lord is taking me right now. Of course, I when you come into things, you ain't looking. It's not about the monetary things as more as it's about helping people, or sharing your thoughts with others around the world. But once you start, now, don't get me wrong now, but once you start seeing a little income and some things coming in, it give you the, like, wait a minute, this can add up to something, because as you mentioned, uh the podcast, I actually got a call from this network name called Believe Network, and based out there in California. And I got a call from, what's up, Cam Rogers, and he asked me to bring my podcast to their platform. This was back in August, in August last year. And man, that was incredible, man, to know where I've been, and how I started for a major podcast that has 659 hosts on there, to ask me to bring my podcast to their platform, and I didn't have to change anything. And it gives you the more exposure, different sponsorships and things of that nature, man. So the sky's the limit, and I think honestly, I'm just tapping into doing what I'm doing. Because like I said, once you start seeing things and say, wait a minute, this is out there helping. Because a lot of times you don't know if people really liking what you're doing, if people really paying attention, because we get focused on the people that's around us, that may not be paying attention, or people that know you that's really not listening. But you and we see analytics, we see the numbers, we see that is people listening to it in Russia, or Ukraine, or all parts of Mexico, or all parts of the country. And so we know that, hey, like, wait a minute, this might be, I might be on to something. And so it gives us the fortitude, and it gives us the willpower and the strength to just keep going, man, and keep doing what you're doing. And that's why I'm at with it right now.
Absolutely. Keep going, and keep going. And you will read. God will take you to where you want to be.
Hey,
With these
wherever he
great
got
words,
destiny.
absolutely. With these great words of wisdom from CJ, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.